Let's do it.
Cue intro music.
All right, so this is ModCast number 2. I am your returning host and community manager, LastMember William. My favorite color is green, I think, and the show psych is pretty cool. That's how I feel about it, but that's just me. With us today, we've got 2 returning mods, and we're going to introduce a new one here in a little bit. Crimson Bama, say hello, as you do.
Hi, this is CrimsonPalim again. Since we're doing favorite colors, mine would be blue. And my favorite TV show currently is it's a toss-up between The Walking Dead and American Horror Story. But I'm going to go with American Horror Story.
My brother likes that show a lot. Really does. Bama, after you.
What's going on, guys? BamaIMRice, your resident Titan here, broadcasting live from wherever Titans broadcast from. Oh, that's right, your face. My favorite color is crimson, obviously, for the fact that Roll Tide. So go shove it, any of you Gator fans out there. Hope that you have a long struggle this weekend. It's good to be back. Got a lot of exciting topics to talk about with the group tonight, and hopefully we'll bring some good information that will be able to be processed properly. How about that?
Hey, there we go. On the topic of new information, we've got a new mod that we're going to introduce to the community. Kithicor has been brought into the mod realm. Go ahead and introduce yourself there, friend.
Yeah, thanks. Hey guys, this is Kithicor. Most of you, hopefully, I've met at this point. I've been playing Destiny here for just a little while, but been picking it up, and especially with the clan, things have been moving along pretty swimmingly. As far as favorite colors, I guess I'll jump on that train. Mine would be blue, not yellow, actually, and anybody who gets that reference is allowed to be my friend.
Not a bad reference to get, all in all. So the mods and I were discussing the need for an additional mod to come onto the team here with us. When we went from 40 members to 292 members, it became very apparent that we couldn't do it all, and it has become very apparent that we definitely needed help. So the criteria for bringing on a mod was to find somebody who was already doing the things in a positive way that we expected a mod to do. And Kithicor really exemplified those things we were looking for, and so we felt like he was already filling the shoes of someone who we felt like we could promote and bring into the table and have your viewpoints and things on his mind as we try to continue with this community. And so we were very happy and excited to have him join our team, as it were.
Am I the only one that sounded like a complete robotic person for half the time?
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But
I'm recording.
Last week it was really rough too, and since he's recording it on his end, it should turn out okay.
So on my end.
But I also just want to mention for anybody that might have noticed, Boomtown is not here. He's got some personal things he's dealing with in life right now, so he's kind of on hiatus for a little bit. But he will return. So
which is absolutely understandable, and we're not gonna be upset about that. First thing we want to talk about this week, I guess, is the Black Spindle Day, as that happened this past, Tuesday? Question mark?
Past Saturday, right?
Oh, it was, that's right.
I think it was Saturday, yeah.
It was a weekend.
Yeah, because I was unfortunately not able to help because I was, working.
Right.
So
I was also out of pocket. But thanks to y'all in the community, I think the first Black Spindle Day, we probably had, third? Well, I say this.
This is where I take over. I think we had probably at least 25 to 30 members who were able to get their first Black Spindle one way or another. And at this time, I think we need to recognize those individuals who not only assisted, but stepped up in major ways and volunteered without pretty much having to be asked. Zai and Lothar were 2 of our main guys. There was a couple others as well that I know were messaging me throughout the day, helping others. Probably some people in the channel could help with that, but that was very nice. It was good experience. We're glad that we have community members who are willing to step up when others need help and want help, to provide everybody an equal opportunity to be successful in Destiny. And with Black Spindle being such a huge part of, especially with the raid, it's nice to allow everybody to have the same page, so when everybody goes in, we can all be on the same strategy, and it'd be a quick and easy run for everybody involved. So once again, thanks to those individuals who volunteered without remorse or without a second thought to it, and they ran anywhere between 8 and 12 hours on that day doing that. So big props to you guys.
Absolutely. That was something. I know the first time it came around and we were a community, that it became a community focus, and as it has happened again, it's nice and really awesome to see that is a continuing tradition, I guess, if you will, with our group here.
And for those of you that didn't manage to get it this time around, don't fret. The next time it comes around, just make sure you throw it in the group me that you need some people to help you through it, and somebody will jump to help you out. So don't be bashful. Just if you need help with anything, throw it in group me. Somebody will join you.
Help you out if we can. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the fact that, with us growing as quickly as we have, the point of emphasis is make sure that you're using the GroupMe to your advantage. We have a general chat, and that's great. Let's use a general chat for what we want to. On certain days when we have Black Spindle runs, let's try to keep that PvE channel available and flowing properly, so those individuals who need assistance with that, or just want to simply help others, or a combination of both.
Yeah.
Some people are still trying to get the ship, so maybe they want to run it a first time and they just need 2 other members. If you're available to help and willing to help, go ahead and let others know, and then use a private message feature as well, so you can coordinate without constantly chatting in the same chat once you get a fire team going. I think that'll make it a little bit easier. Use the PlayStation features as well as far as that goes. But, the GroupMe has been a great asset to us, and we'll talk about some of the other features that we've presented this week and some that we have looking forward to in the next couple of weeks. But you guys have done overall an excellent job of using GroupMe. Just continue to use it in the great manner that you have, and we will continue to grow as a community.
And on that note, real quick, no more football talk in PvE. That's what he means by creating a flow.
Yes.
Leave your football talk to the general chat, guys. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, general chat's going to be more for, we'll talk a little Destiny. We may talk some football. We may talk this or that. That's perfectly fine. Just remember, in general chat, it's a general emphasis, so let's don't hog it down for 17 hours either on one specific topic. So if it's something where nobody else has talked about your subject for 2 or 3 minutes and it's gone up the page, let's move on. It's not a big deal. Just find something else to talk about, or hop into PvE and find somebody to run some raids or things like that, or hop into PvP and go from there.
Yep. One thing that I've really been pleasantly surprised with the GroupMe chat is there are very, very few times where somebody will post something and say, hey, I'm looking to run a Nightfall or just a couple of heroic strikes or what have you. And there are very, very few times where that goes unnoticed or unaddressed. And generally, if it has been unnoticed or unaddressed, it's going to be because of a time problem where
I will be so glad when you move to Decatur.
I'll be so glad when you move. Oh my goodness.
Me too, trust me. But the only times that I've seen any kind of issue is where some people who are on the East Coast are trying to party up with people who are on the West Coast, which still is crazy to me that we have people on the East Coast and West Coast both in our clan and community, and that we're coming together as friends even. And progressing, but I'm very happy to see that hadn't been an issue where things have just been completely ignored for any extended period of time. As we continue off of using GroupMe, we're gonna talk about the new raid planning system, Agenda. I'm gonna leave the floor open to y'all before I share my comments about it. But what do y'all feel about Agenda? How are y'all liking it, and what do you think could be better about it?
Well, from my perspective, Algenda's it's practical. It works. There were some comments earlier the other day, actually, where people were saying it's a little clunky on the mobile devices, and that's a fair assessment. I would just say if you're having those troubles, maybe pull up the web page on your laptop if you have one handy, because once you get on that on the actual web page, it's a little easier to use, and you can kind of understand the layout a little bit more. Because as far as mobile devices, yeah, it's probably not the easiest thing, but once you get down to the actual functions in the calendar and everything like that, it works pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Right. That's basically what I was going to say. Just to remember, guys, that Agenda is still in beta. The developers are still working on it. So hopefully in the near future, it will be presented a little bit easier on mobile platforms. We know it's really rough on a mobile platform. And as has been said before, we are trying to look into some other options for raid planning, but for right now we're going to stick with Agenda. It works very well. It does its job incredibly well.
Yeah.
So for right now we're gonna stick with that, and just be patient and try and trudge through it until we can find something different, if we do decide to find something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good point that we ask that you just be patient with us right now. We weren't prepared for this many people, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to find long-term solutions to problems such as raid scheduling, even some points doing some PvP nights. We had scheduled a PvP clash night for last night, and I think that turned out very successful. We actually filled up the group. And had a small bit of a waiting list. So I was very pleased with that. That's something we're going to continue to offer on a weekly basis, one night a week. Just get together as some members, play some different styles, and on nights when it's 3v3 matchups, we'll just break off into groups, and we may keep the party chat at 6 and communicate all together, but that Agenda has tons of potential that we are looking to explore and looking to capitalize on. We just need the time, and we need and ask for your patience in letting us do that.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions regarding using the website at all, just hit up one of the mods. Make sure you tag us in the group me chat, and we'll be happy to help you out with that.
Absolutely. I really like the visual aspect of Agenda. It has that you can see it laid out in a week in advance, or however long you want to go, and you can definitely tell the blocked out time, and from my point of view, it is a visual representation of what we did before we had too many people to do a Google Doc anymore. Having a visual representation for me, looking at it and saying, okay, there's things blocked out here that are planning on happening, and if I want to jump in and definitely have a spot in a raid, I can either join one of these events or make your own post. If you want to run PvP for a while, put in there that, hey, I'm looking for clan members, community members to run PvP, and this is my block. And now, that being said, the earlier you can have it up, the better off it'll work for you. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Short notice is not great on Agenda, although it does work because it's up there as soon as it can be. But I like that it's very, very visual in everything that's on there.
Definitely. And here's a little fun fact. Here's your little trivia item regarding Agenda for the day. If you actually look up at the top, you can see a little picture that kind of looks like the website. This is actually looking at the web page on a regular computer. You see a little miniature picture, kind of looks like the website. If you click on that, you can switch themes. I've currently got mine on the planets because that reminds me of the Destiny solar system the most.
That's right.
I was favoring the Star Wars one in celebration and
Nice.
anticipation for, there's I don't know if you've heard, but there's a movie coming out.
That major motion feature, yeah.
Yeah, it's a small indie title, not really anything serious. But
Just a small gathering, no big deal, guys.
right,
Move along.
Nothing major.
Nothing to see.
Move along. Move along.
I'm glad somebody got it.
Oh, gracious. Now, with that in mind, the challenge mode dropped. How do y'all feel about challenge mode? I've seen posts in different public forums where a lot of people were not very happy about it. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, challenge mode was pretty much just what most people were doing already as far as strategy goes. The only people that I really think suffered or had a difficult time with it were groups that already had maybe one or two designated aura holders. Besides that, I think everybody pretty much realized that as long as you had 3 or maybe 4 different aura holders, or people who were capable of doing that, you were perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, to me, it was pretty much like, okay, same thing. But we got, some higher ranked gear. It just seems lazy to me, to be honest. It seems like they just sort of here's a challenge mode. It's within the raid, though. It's not separate. So just continue to do the raid. And, oh, by the way, here's your 320 artifacts and your last calcified fragments from this.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like it was super well thought out. Maybe that's just my opinion, but it seems like they just sort of at the last minute were like, okay, we've got a normal raid and a hard raid. What can we do to improve it? I don't really feel like it. We need to either rush or we just don't know what to do at this time. So let's just, let's just make a challenge mode and call it that.
Well, I'll go ahead and offer you a counterpoint, good sir. I think that this is an excellent way for Bungie to actually kind of ease the Destiny community into the idea of challenge mode, and by doing the first challenge mode in a relatively straightforward, relatively easy to understand manner, they're kind of letting us all kind of realize what the idea is going to be in the future. So moving forward, we can expect maybe more complicated, more difficult challenges, because the way we have it right now is, like you said, the challenge mode is pretty much what we're already doing normally, but the fact remains that it is a challenge that has specific rules, and even though we already follow those usually, they are still there laid out formally by Bungie in order to get the rewards. And I think in the future we can probably expect things to take us out of our comfort zones, like, for example, multiple orbs on Golgoroth.
Well, that's one thing that you brought it up. Golgoroth, and even in the weekly update, they mentioned, hey, apologies to those guys who are doing the single orb strat.
Yeah.
So,
they even said, if you think this one's too easy, hit us back next week. So
Just wait.
I feel like Bungie may have taken those as maybe shots fired, and I think we may regret it here come up next week and the week after maybe a little bit. I kind of like it.
In all fairness, Bungie has said before that something was going to be extremely challenging, and
Prison of Elders. Prison of Elders.
Hard mode hard mode King's Fall was supposed to be, this is what we did first. They hyped it up like it was going to be all this so much better than normal, and it was beaten less than an hour. So,
well,
we'll see. I'm optimistic. I hope for the best. So hopefully it's challenging, and it's going to take some real coordination to do this Golgoroth challenge. So we'll find out.
I'll be honest. I liked the challenge mode. I don't know that could it have been a little different? Sure, maybe, but I like that it was fairly straightforward. I like that it was guaranteed loot. That's one thing that I know not only myself and I've struggled with it, but I know that y'all have. There's always been the struggle of, oh my goodness, am I ever going to get the whatever it is that you're looking for? For Bama, I don't think
the guaranteed loot
the
thing is really, really awesome. The fact that I can do something and get a 320 piece of equipment, guaranteed, no matter what. That's really, really awesome. That's something that I am looking forward to with Golgoroth for sure, because 320 armor pieces that's a big deal. So,
and not having to.
And as far as any disappointment by Bungie's efforts to make things hard, let me offer another perspective here, because one of the common trends I see is from people who've been playing the game for a little while, and they're kind of maybe a little unsatisfied, or they want more out of the end game content. And from a person who's relatively new to the game, frankly, I don't see that yet, and I hope I don't for a while. I'm at the stage still where I'm just enjoying playing it. I'm enjoying meeting new people and helping them play it and learning new strategies, and all this stuff's going on. So I think for the majority of our clan, we're happy. I think I obviously can't speak for anybody else, but I think that most people are kind of happy with where the raid is right now, because obviously we have all these different ranges of skill levels, and we have to figure out how to make everything come together in a good team effort.
Which is absolutely fair. The broad range of people that we've got running with us, it definitely can change. At least for me, depending on who I'm running with, definitely changes how I play. With some of the people that I've run with more often, or maybe even I've gotten to know and I've adjusted their skill level, I may play a lot more aggressively with them and put myself in situations where they may have to save my neck more often than I will with other groups or people that I necessarily haven't played with a lot. So that's one thing, at least for me, that I can agree with you absolutely. On the topic of guaranteed drops, Trials is obviously again this weekend. I am trying to not necessarily avoid Trials, but as is evidenced by our conversations already, my network and internet is not great.
I think he died.
We didn't get the last part away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think he fell off the face of the earth there.
Rip in pieces.
I think he was trying to say is with Trials coming out this week and his inability to consistently play because of his amazing Kappa internet.
Thanks.
There's obviously opportunities there for Trials. Now, the map this week is Widow's Court, which also it brings up an interesting prospect because the location of Widow's Court, for those of you who notice, is Widow's Court. And that was supposed to have been fixed with the last update to be updated to the European Dead Zone, which has not been updated yet. So I'm still wondering when we're going to get to patrol this said Widow's Court.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a sniper-filled match, and I don't know if I'm really excited about patrolling that, but we'll see. But, Crimson and I have already started playing a little bit on it, and we remember it from Season 1 of Trials. So I'll defer to Crimson first and allow him to discuss his feelings on the map, and then we'll go around the table with it for a minute.
All right, so first of all, this week with Trials, as every week, when you get to 5 and 7 wins, you get a guaranteed drop. This week, when you get to 5 wins, your drop is a helmet, the Trials of Osiris specific helmet. And when you get to 7 wins, it is the Trials of Osiris hand cannon, which is the Water Star hand cannon.
Hey, they're buffing those. They're buffing them.
So, anyways, you have that to look forward to. If you like your hand cannons, then I've heard it's a pretty decent hand cannon. I personally have not used it, so I can't really speak for it. But this map specifically, as Matt kind of hinted at, or Bama hinted at, it is a sniper field map. If you like to snipe, this is going to be a map you enjoy. If you don't like snipers,
beware.
If you don't like snipers, then good luck.
Well,
there's some avenues you can take.
I'm sure we can offer some
avenues you can take.
Better advice than good luck. If you don't like snipers, just make sure you take cover and don't poke your head out unnecessarily.
There's some avenues you can take if you want to run with a shotgun or just want to stay out of the sniper battle in general. It's pretty hard to negate the sight lines in this map because, quite frankly, if you're a good sniper, you can position yourself where they've got to go past you at some point. But if you spawn at the bottom side of the map, a lot of people will go inside the church that's right there to your right and try and wait it out until the control point spawns, which is right there at the bottom of the steps. And at that point, they've got to come to you to get that point. And with shotguns, you can kind of hide and finagle your way around the snipers. And it's pretty annoying to deal with. Another strategy that I've seen people use when they pretty much primarily use shotguns is they will rush straight up the left-hand side, especially if the snipers are wanting to wait in the middle of the map. And if the snipers are going to the right-hand map and or right-hand side of the map and trying to snipe behind the wall that's over there, a lot of people will either send 2 right or 2 up the middle of the map, the middle lane of the map, and then 1 on the other side of it and try and do kind of like a pincer attack. As long as you coordinate that really well and all 3 of you push at the same time, it's really difficult for 3 people that are sniping to deal with that. And then for the most part, if you spawn on the top side of the map, in my opinion, you're at a pretty big advantage because you have a lot better head glitches on that side of the map. And also, when you do manage to pick somebody off with a sniper, it's a lot easier to just rain grenades down and just straight up push people. It's easier to throw grenades downhill than it is up. So that's kind of my take on the map. So
Sciencey.
Always take the high ground.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
It's easier to throw down than it is to throw up. Although I guess there are things that'll disagree with me.
That's a life philosophy right
There
there.
it is. That's right. That's right. That's what this is. ModCast. We offer life lessons.
Yes. Well, here's a life lesson for you all for Widow's Court. You need to stick together. If you've got, I don't care how your composition is, if you have 3 snipers, heaven forbid you have 3 shotgunners, but most groups are going to probably have at least 1, if not 2 snipers, and then 1 person with a shotgun. You need to make sure that you're in groups of 2, because sometimes your partner may or may not win that battle, and it's more important if they can at least swap kills for you to revive your buddy and make it a 3-on-2 situation instead of trying to push up and do individual feats. This map is too wide and too spread out to try to do your best Houdini impression all the time and be victorious. It just won't work. They'll flank you, and all they will do is simply squeeze you in as you go. So just make sure you travel at least a pair of 2 and have your 3rd semi-close by, and regroup constantly, and remember that the point is in the middle. So like Crimson was saying, the high point, you're going to have to come down to the point to get it, which does give you a little bit of advantage as far as high ground goes. But if you're on the low side, you have a shorter route, and you also have cover with the church. So make sure to be aware of your surroundings here more than maybe last week, when last week you could pretty much just run around and there wasn't that many snipers out. Here, there's definitely going to be plenty of sniper action going on, and if you're not ready for it and you pop your head out even for a split second, it's crucial that you keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
So one of the big things on this map, speaking of snipers, pretty much on Anomaly, if you were trying to run somewhere, they couldn't see you unless you saw them on your radar. On Widow's Court, there are so many sight lines that you may never see them, and they are not going to ping on your radar at all. So that's what we're referring to when we say you need to keep or like we say in the Marine Corps, keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you know what's around you before you go trying to run out there. If you can't see there, try and get a call out from your teammate. Maybe one of your teammates is sniping, and he knows that there's a guy looking in the direction you're trying to go, and he's waiting on him to pop his head out so he can take care of him, and then you can go. Just communication, stick together, and make sure you get your revives.
Yeah.
And on the topic of revives, while we're talking about that, sometimes when you're playing with trials, some of you may not know, but you may hear your teammate tell you to push them when you revive them. That's because when somebody's being revived, there's a split second where they can't move and they can still take damage. And if somebody has a high impact sniper rifle, they can shoot them before they ever have the opportunity to react. The counter to that is, if you're the teammate that's reviving them, you can slide into them and push them as their body is coming up, and it makes it really hard on the sniper to hit them. I'm not saying it's impossible, because it can be done, but it's an awful lot harder to hit somebody that's moving than it is somebody that's just standing still. There's 2 different options that you can do. You can do what I just said, where you can slide into them. If you're having a problem timing that, there's another option where, as their body's coming up, you can run in front of them, and what that does is the game's aim assist kicks in, and the sniper will follow your body instead of staying on their head. If you're going to do that, you need to make sure that you jump, because that sniper is still probably going to shoot, and you need to make sure you're shot in the chest and not in the head. So make sure, if you're going to try that method, that you jump when you run across them to drag the sights.
And until the weekly update comes down with Luck in the Chamber getting reworked, that could still probably knock you out, depending on what the
right
are on that sniper.
If you see that the other team is using the Irene, I would not use that method.
Change, just don't.
Yeah.
All right, so touching on the weekly update, we've got a nerf to the Mighty Titan, or, well, a nerf, an adjustment to the Mighty Titan.
That's calm down.
And there was much rejoicing. Yay!
Everybody freaking out, but when you hear that hammer sound come down, you're still going to run like a little hunter baby, so don't worry. We're still coming your way. And also, we're coming with a fist to the face.
I'm hearing that. So, Resident Titan,
right.
What about the upcoming changes to the Titan subclasses? Are you excited about anything, or is it all just kind of they're all coming down?
I'm excited for it, because overall it will bring the Sunbreaker class back into, as far especially the super portion goes, back even with most of the others. what a lot of people are going to read is Sunbreaker's getting nerfed, and they're going to stop there. What they're not reading is the fact that the Defender Titan and the Striker Titan are going to get buffed. Not only not even to give you a choice in the PvP realm, but it's going to make it to where that class as a whole fits in with the Hunter subclass, or the Hunter class, the Warlock class. So basically, across the board, the Titan melee is getting a reach out. A 12.5% increase in the melee distance. So everybody talks about the infamous 1,000-yard Warlock smack. Yeah. Well, here comes the Titans now, and it will hurt, and you will not like it, but you will take it.
By no means is it going to be at the same range as the Warlock smack, but the Titans are going to. The way that I read it, if you feel like you should punch somebody, you're not going to swing your T-Rex arms right in front of your chin anymore. You'll actually hit them.
So, basically, the Titan punch is going from 2/3 distance of a Warlock melee to 3/4 distance of a Warlock melee.
Correct, and it's not that we're comparing ourselves to the Warlock, because the Warlocks is more of a, for space lore or whatever, it's more of a magic or a space magic induced thing, whereas the Titan is a straight up physical punch. So the distance shouldn't be the same as the Warlocks, and the Hunters, especially with the Gunslinger class, they have throwing knives, so they are supposed to keep distance. But you're up close and personal, so you should be able to hit from a relatively close range, but it needs to be a little bit further than it was before, and they're definitely addressing that with the 12.5% buff to the strike across the board. That also benefits the Striker class with your Storm Fist, so that will be a nice.
That's actually getting a buff, isn't it? It's like a 50%, or what does it do? It gives you more damage, and it's what is it? It charges your grenade
AoE or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It gives you. It's gonna get put out more damage. That's the major feature of it, and it will have some sort of an AOE effect, I'm sure, as well. Speaking of AOE effects, for those who choose to run Defender Titan in PvP, you'll get a nice little boost in the fact that when you pop your super, you will now have your melee and your grenade charge instantly back.
Which is
so
nice.
As soon as you pop it, you can then run out, start throwing grenades, and that's crucial if that's how you want to run as a Defender Titan. And I say this as lovingly as I can, Defender Titans. It's not smart to run that unless you're running no backup plans and you're good with them and really good with a shotgun. But make sure that you're a good teammate to where the perk will not only benefit you but benefit everybody else around you.
Well, that's another thing with the Defender Titan and with Armamentarium coming up. That's interesting to see whether or not if you've popped both of your grenades off and you shoot your super off and you plant your bubble, are you going to get both your grenades back with Armamentarium? That'll be something.
I would assume not. Normally, in most cases, when you have double grenades, it's just the first grenade that pops up, and then the second one has to recharge normally.
Sure.
It's usually the case. Now, maybe they do something like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait until the actual update's implemented. But until then, we'll sort of guess.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. One big thing that on the other end of not being a Titan as often as Sir BamaIMRice, I'm looking happily at the cauterize adjustment, having it actually have a delay, and you can't just be a Hammer Titan, pop your supers, and throw it at everything and run into anything you want to run into without even worrying about dying. Is I feel like it's a lot more balanced on the receiving end anyway. But that may be me.
There's two things with that. The first big thing that they're doing is they're taking out, or they're reducing the amount of tracking that your hammers are going to do, and they're also reducing the amount of AoE that it does.
And the hammer speed itself too.
Yeah.
Right, but both of those things combined with the cauterize being slowed down it's going to bring it more in line with everything else, I think, because it's always been kind of ridiculous how a Titan can pop his hammers and then see three people and all three of them are dead because the explosion is larger than the freaking Truce explosion, which is a little retarded. But those things all coming together at the same time. We'll see. Personally, I think that they may be nerfing it a little bit too much. I've said from the get-go that as long as I can one-shot you with a sniper rifle or golden gun can one-shot it, then I'm okay.
Well,
but we'll see.
The problem with that is, depending on your Titan and your build and your armor, golden gun's not going to one-shot you. There have been many times where I've been on the losing end of a super because I've golden gunned a Titan and walked away and gotten a hammer in the back of my head. So, who knows?
Right. I mean, that's probably still going to happen. And trading supers is it's not a bad thing in my opinion. I mean, you've seen Stormcallers, or not Stormcallers, Striker Titans and Golden Gun Hunters trade for a long time. Trading supers is not bad in my opinion.
Well, I don't mind trading them. It's I've shot you with my super, but you've walked it off and now I'm dead. That's my issue.
Right. Right, but they're fixing that because that's another thing that they're fixing though, because the Titans now have less damage reduction and they have less armor.
Less armor, yep.
So
very nice.
So you will now be able to one-shot them with Golden Gun. So, or at least that's how I read that. I read that as sniper headshots and Golden Gun will now kill you.
Which
It's
it's
a 9% reduction, so it's enough to get the shot that you guys are talking about, but it's not the big adjustment that I think everybody was like, please nerf them by 75%. No, just not.
And I don't think that should have been the case either. But
because remember the shield for a Titan is like 55% less damage than normally. Now with that 9%, it comes down to about 45. So it's actually going to be a little bit less than maybe some of the others, maybe by a couple percentage points, but it still falls in line because of the range attack that the Titan hammers can do, and also just the pure number of them. I mean, if you're spec'd out properly, you can throw 7. Now you probably won't hit 7 targets, of course, but you can throw 7 hammers. So that super within itself is an amazing ability to throw 7 long-range shots where Golden Gun Max can do 4 with the next update. A Nova Bomb, you can chunk it. Who knows where it's going to go? But
yeah.
So with the Hunter, I mean with the Titans armor class coming down 9%, I'm perfectly fine with that. I do think that a sniper should be able to one-shot, because they can one-shot everything else. The Sunbreaker should not have a distinct advantage from that.
Right.
Remember, that is coming from the president of the Team Titan for Life. So.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to... Go ahead.
I do want to clarify. It's only high-impact sniper rifles that should be able to one-shot them. We're not talking about you being able to run around with your Praetor's Revenge or your Defiance of Yasmin and do that.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
The only other thing we haven't mentioned about the Titan nerfs yet is that the Flamestalker, Fleetfire, and Firekeeper are changing their additions to your stat bonus. You're going to get a little more agility, a little more recovery with the Fleetfire and Firekeeper, and then Fireseeker is losing the recovery aspect and gaining more agility. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out. I don't really know why they're doing that personally. I don't think that's going to make too big of a difference. They're just going to make Titans move around a little faster. It's what I kind of read out of it.
Yeah, I think they're looking at it from the fact that the Titans have the most armor, and I think they're trying to bring them down with the rest of the classes on that.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how these patch updates work out in the future and seeing what actually happens in practice.
Yes, very much so.
Absolutely. Now, if you're listening to this, odds are you're listening to it on YouTube because that's where we upload it. So, that's what that is. But
having an existential crisis here, guys. Hang on.
Hey, I'm saying we're talking to somebody and they are not listening to us where we uploaded it. But as you're browsing our channel, we're definitely trying to branch out and be what's the word I'm looking for? More social, maybe? Question mark.
Don't use my phrase.
We're trying to get.
That's not your phrase.
That's my phrase.
Anyways.
Point is, we're trying to make it so that we're a lot more prominent. There we go, in the community. And one of those things is this select YouTube channel that you're browsing currently. There are definitely some videos that we've uploaded, but not all of them have come from mods. In fact, I would say that, well, at the current time, there's a lot of them that come from mods, but not all of them are, and that's what we don't want them to all be from, like, nobody wants to watch all of my stuff that I've uploaded because A, it's not that entertaining, and B, I'm not that cool. I'll just be honest with you. I'm not.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness.
Look, deprecating humor, not really joking, but here we go. So if you have something that you think is really cool, let one of the mods know. We've all got access to the channel. We've all got the ability to upload stuff. So let us know, and we'd love to be able to put that stuff up there. One of our fellow community members, Jay Henso, has amazingly created a really cool intro video for us. And even at Kithicor's suggestion, he made it splattered with paint so that it looked right.
I still don't think that worked out great, right? But we'll work on it.
but it's really, really awesome to see stuff that y'all have done and that stuff that we'd like to share with not only our community but the Destiny community as a whole. But hey, what do I know? Maybe the other mods have some stuff. Oh
well, I'd just like to help you out there by saying that one recent video, in fact, was uploaded by somebody who, at the time, wasn't a mod. So I think that counts as community contribution. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's the Thriller video. Bama's putting some music to that, and it's going to be one of the most outstanding videos from Destiny you've seen in 2015. I'm just saying.
It is pretty awesome. That is for sure. I laughed pretty hysterically when watching it. So.
I think my favorite part of that is the fact that there's about 5 seconds of the dancing happening, and not a lot's going on. And then apparently BamaIMRice found his giggle button, and he absolutely loses it for about 20 seconds.
Yeah. He actually touches on that in the video, but I started cracking up immediately because on my screen, the Twitch recording, you could see them both starting up at the same time. So you can hear my reaction a little quieter in the background, and then Bama really kicks in when he sees it happening on my stream from his perspective. So that's why that delay happens, but it is pretty silly.
Yeah,
it happens.
It was fun.
But we're discussing about maybe trying to branch into the Twitterverse or maybe the Facebookverse. That's not a verse, is it? It's just a Facebook. You know?
Sure. It's the universe of the Book of Face.
The multiverse.
So you know, we're talking about that. If you're interested in doing that, maybe shoot one of the mods a message and say, hey, I am a Twitter aficionado. I have 9 billion followers. I don't. I have like 2, but I have 9 million followers, and one of them's my mom. So does that counts? No,
that counts.
Let's not admit that out loud. Let's just
counts in my book.
And I'm sure she's your greatest fan.
She said that. How did you know? But so we're talking about maybe branching out into that community and seeing if we can't put SAAG and someone above average gamers gaming into maybe a little bit more prominent area. And so if you're like super awesome at those things, let us know. And if you're great, that's another thing as a side note and addendum here. The community, we're looking, if somebody knows how to make a logo, a super cool, artsy, really neat community logo, let one of the mods know. We would love to have a straight up legit, hey, this is SAAG and this is what represents us, and this is our word or whatever you want to say. So,
all right.
If you've got that talent, I don't. I don't is just the easiest way to put it. My stick figures look kind of not great. So you know, if you can do that, reach out to us. We'd love to have your art be our art and have it displayed and be able to say, hey, look, that is SAAG. That's our emblem, if you will.
Let me bounce this idea off you guys real quick. What if we tried to pick out an emblem from in-game as like our clan emblem and just kind of wear that for clan events somewhere down the line?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
We have to all agree that Dead Orbit is the best, which I don't think there's going to be an issue there. So,
oh man, we're gonna have some debates.
So there's that.
Hey, wait, is there any other factions besides Dead Orbit?
I didn't think so. I thought Dead Orbit was the only one.
I've heard there's secret factions.
Ooh.
I've heard there's the new Monarchy one, which is the one I prefer. But whatever.
You can be wrong. It's okay.
Well,
What happened to the old monarchy? That's my
I'm
question.
saying.
well, you see, there was this country called America.
Oh man, that's the end of that. So, so this was ModCast number 2. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've gotten some new information out of it. Hopefully you've learned a little bit about your mods. We're happy to introduce Kithicor again as our addition to our mod team here. Hopefully he'll live up to the reputation that he's already earned among you, and if not, we'll put him down. Question mark? No?
Yikes.
I don't mean that in a serious sense, but who knows? I'm sure he's going to do excellent, and I have not heard any problems from anybody about, well, there was that one.
That one time. The incident.
Yeah, the
We want to talk about the incident.
But, so this is last signing off for all the mods here.